Welcome, everybody, to Moose Milk Podcast, episode 32! Episode 32. Yeah, tonight we're going to talk What If Episode 1. I just went and seen Suicide Squad, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that without spoilers, because I don't think Matt's seen it yet. Yeah, we're just going to talk a little bit about both of those things and give our thoughts in, What If we'll have spoilers, so if you haven't watched What If, we will spoil that a little bit, but yeah, just waiting for Matt. If you haven't already, subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We are now available as a podcast on both those platforms, so if you haven't, jump over there. And there's Matthew looking as sexy as ever.
It's funny.
Why? Because it's bigger than a normal size
froze,
hat?
But it froze. Well, I'm hoping I can. Ah, shit! I was trying to take a picture. My thing froze.
Oh, you're very frozen. Completely frozen now. I don't even know if you can still hear me. I love Instagram. Constantly freezing. Can you hear me, sir? Are you there, sir? You have gone. Nobody is here. Am I frozen? I don't know. My dog's barking. He might know. Nope, Matt's gone. All right. Well, hopefully Matt will rejoin. But as I was saying, if you have not subscribed on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, subscribe now. We're available there in audio form. Always available as well on YouTube. So there's Matthew again. He's here.
I'm back, motherfuckers.
Yeah. What's up, son?
I have a special guest joining me tonight too. Homer.
Yeah, there he is.
Hey, bud. Hey. Nope. He's like, fuck y'all.
He's all napping and stuff, man. He don't care.
No, he doesn't care.
Your dog is like the most chill dog ever.
Not true. You'll hear tonight. He'll bark at least. He'll have like a crazy barking spell. He does these things where it's like, he does like full on like howl. So he'll be like,
My dog doesn't howl. He just barks a lot.
All he needs to hear is just one little thing. Anything. It doesn't even have to be.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah, their dogs.
Any noise outside, he's going crazy. Like it's not stoppable at all.
Any noise in our entire condo, and he's like, he goes nuts.
Yeah, you're very quiet, but I'm trying.
Oh, hang on, I can just, I guess, because I think you said you could hear me better when I wasn't.
Way better, automatically. As soon as you did that, way better.
All right, just tell me that. No, I'll just switch over.
You're very quiet.
I was whispering.
It's ASMR video.
That's right.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. I took the day off today, so that was kind of nice.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm. Did some work on a couple of figures that I've been working on, and I had to do some like big construction kind of work on one of them. So I figured.
I saw you on live. I just I couldn't stay and watch because I didn't have any power. So
yeah. That's annoying.
Yeah. I love coming home to no power. It makes me really happy.
Yeah. I don't actually have that issue too often, so it's weird. We don't really lose power here because we don't really have like thunderstorms and shit, right?
Because you live in a real city.
Well, it's not that I live in a real city. You live in a real city too.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I live in a dump truck that pretends it's a city. We went. So me and like 4 friends went and seen Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
tonight.
How was it? I was just gonna ask you.
Well, we'll dive into that in a bit, but we're driving back and like everything's pitch black, and you know how like sometimes you just don't really click into like something's wrong immediately, and then all of a sudden I look around, I'm like, everything's dark. This is weird, and then I'm like, there's no street lights. This is weird, and then we get closer to like our houses because he lives like 2 blocks away from me, and I'm like, oh, it's pitch black. Like, you can't see anything. Like, there's no lights anywhere. I'm like, something's definitely wrong. And then I go online and it's like, yeah, there's a massive transformer explosion in this side of the city, and nobody has any power. And I'm like, oh, that's good.
We could have done the podcast in the dark.
I was thinking that. I was like, oh, I could just light some candles or something, and like.
Wouldn't it be funny if you just did it in pitch black and then I just shut all my lights?
It's Friday the 13th. It would be spooky.
Oh, that would have been so soothing. We should have done that.
We'll do that for Halloween.
Okay.
Everybody, we'll do like
you would think we were gonna wear costumes, but instead we're just gonna do it in the dark.
We'll do like a candle cast where we'll just light some candles and we'll do like a live seance.
I'm gonna do candles behind me though, so that way you don't see my face. It's all shadowy with just this like glow behind me.
What's up, Nike boy?
Hi, Nike boy. What up, man?
Yeah, no, I think we should do candles, and then we'll just watch The Craft on stream.
Sounds good to me. I'm pretty sure we bought that the last time we needed to buy it because Kate wanted to watch it.
The new one or the old one?
The old one.
I love the old one.
Yeah, Kate likes it a lot.
I haven't watched the new one yet because I'm pretty sure I heard it was awful.
We watched it and I can't remember what we thought of it. I'm pretty sure I was like, "This is fucking lame," but
yeah, I love the original Craft. Like the original Craft is like awesome. Like Nev Campbell, woo man! Like I love old Nev Campbell movies, and that movie's dope. But I was very, very hesitant to see that they were remaking it or doing like a new one or whatever it's supposed to be, and then I saw some reviews online that was like, oh, it's bad. It's not good at all. And I was like, oh, no, I can't even bring myself to watch it because it's just going to ruin the original for me.
Yeah, I can't remember where Kate landed on it. And I don't remember it that well. I just know that we watched it. So, like, that tells you that it was for me.
Yeah. If it's not memorable in any way, then obviously it's probably not very good.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah. But anyways, we watched it, I think.
I'll watch it one day when I'm, like, in the right mood for it to ruin my youth, but I watched that movie when I was like, I don't know, 13 or 14, and like I have a huge phobia of snakes, and there's that one part in like near the end of the movie where they like put snakes everywhere, and it like fucking terrified me because I'm petrified of snakes. So
speaking of snakes, yesterday night, last night, sorry, people say it's weird when I say yesterday night. I was watching, I decided to just randomly watch Jackass 2. It came up on like and the part where they put the cobra and the thing with Bam.
With Bam? Yeah.
Oh, it was so funny.
I think I'm like one of 9 people that like, I'm very excited for Jackass 4.
Like, I'm not really like thinking about it because like, I'm just like, I don't know, like, it's not relevant to me really anymore. But like I know when it comes out, I'll see it. It would just be like the second Borat movie. It's like when they make it, I was gonna see it. Like it was inevitable, right? Like it just because I liked it when I was growing up. So even if it could just get me a couple of laughs and a bit of nostalgia, then good enough.
My worry is that it's gonna be more sad than funny. Like it's a bunch of like 50-year-old guys trying to like relive their youth. Bam's not in it. You know, Ryan Dunn has passed, so that's sad, and he's not in it. Like, it seems like it's, I don't want to say money grab because, like, I know a lot of these guys are rich and probably don't need the money, but I also feel like it's like, I don't know, the one last hurrah kind of thing. And I know I saw an interview with Johnny Knoxville that said, like, they brought in a lot of new, young blood basically to, like, take over.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that there's like a Jackass 5 with like a brand new cast of just like wild, crazy dudes.
Yeah.
Because
you could always sprinkle in the original guys, even just to come in like Tony Hawk and all them do. In this one, right? Like just guests, kind of.
Even if they're just there to like supervise and come up with ideas and then make like the young guys do it, kind of thing. Like as like almost like an initiation type, like welcome to Jackass type thing.
I can just hear Johnny Knoxville's laugh, just laughing at
exactly. I mean, I'm just a huge Jackass fan. Like, that's like my teenage years is like CKY and Jackass was like huge for me. So,
yeah, I really enjoyed Jackass a lot. So, like, back
I
in
hope
the
it's
day.
good.
Yeah, me too. I'll see it for sure because I like. Yeah, like I really like. I think Johnny Knoxville is just so fucking funny. Like
I love Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, me too.
Anytime I can watch like an interview with him or anything, even Steve-O. Like Steve-O has a really good podcast. I mean, I've only watched a few episodes of it, so I shouldn't say really good because who knows. But I admire that guy because he's like really went from like one extreme to the other of like
he totally
having
changed his
major
life
drug
around,
problems.
Right?
What's that?
He like totally changed his life around, right?
Yeah, he had like massive drug issues and like is like I think completely sober now and like doing really well for himself and like very successful. He does like comedy and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just really admire the guy. I think he's a really cool dude. So it's cool to see him, being successful outside of Jackass, but like coming back and doing more as like a sober person. Like I think he did Jackass 3 maybe sober too, but
yeah, that sounds right.
I cannot imagine doing like some of the stuff they do like without anything. Like you'd have to be messed up to do some of the stuff they do because there's no way you'd have the courage to do it otherwise.
They do some pretty crazy shit for sure. They're fucking nuts. They're fucking nuts.
I didn't think this podcast was going to turn into Jackass Cast, but don't try this at home.
That's great.
What have you been watching this week?
So I watched Jackass yesterday night, Jackass 2, and I rewatched this week. I Think You Should Leave again, just because I kind of breezed through the season 2 like last time pretty quickly, so I just wanted to revisit that and watch that. And then this morning I watched the last episode of The Bad Batch. So we're season 1 of The Bad Batch. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So that's done now.
Until they're doing a season 2 in next year sometime, I guess. So
did it end like on like a big cliffhanger or?
No, spoilers for everybody who's listening, but no. Like I actually really like the series as a whole. I did find it a bit like slower paced than like Rebels and stuff like that. But I liked like The Bad Batch. Like I hope we get to see those characters in real life one day. That'd be fucking amazing. It'd be so cool. Awesome. But I mean, even if we don't, they're great as they are, and but I thought the last episode of the season it just kind of ended like every other episode. It was just kind of like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like it was a part two of like a 2-part kind of arc or whatever,
right?
So like it was kind of taking care of like where we left off last episode, but at the end there wasn't like any big major twist or anything like that. It was like, all right, we'll see you next week kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I guess there was a little bit more at play, but without going too deep into spoilers, which I.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, if it just came out, don't spoil it.
Yeah, it's like only been out since midnight.
I mean, then again, we're gonna spoil What If, so.
Yeah, but I guess people are used to coming here to hear me spoil What If, though, or spoil whatever MCU show's on.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they're doing another season. I mean, at least that means that it was like watched and successful. So for the people that love it,
Totally. Yeah. I really like the characters. And I think I mentioned to you, there's a character called Omega. She's like a little Australian girl, and she's like, so like they haven't gone too far into it, but essentially she is like the only other clone of Jango Fett, like made like Boba Fett. So like without the aging. With that, like she ages in like real time, like a human does.
Okay.
So she is basically like made of the same DNA as Boba Fett, essentially.
Cool.
Yeah, and she's awesome. She's so cool, and she's like an enhanced clone, like the Bad Batch are too. So it's like, she kind of has like a bunch of like extra kind of skills. Like she's really good at like tactics and like kind of like she's really good at like sabacc. There's an episode where she like fucking cleans house and like plays everybody and gambles playing sabacc and like nice. Pretty cool. It's a pretty cool it was a good show and I liked it and I can't wait for another season.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean, it's not something I'll watch, but I really do hope that some of the stuff that they do in that show that you've said that sounds pretty cool is carried over into like some of the live action stuff. I just saw that Taika Waititi finished writing his movie or whatever that he's doing. So
he's doing like a new movie, like
new Star Wars movie.
Oh, new Star Wars. Oh, nice.
Yeah. What's up, Figurehead? Yeah. Yeah, apparently he's writing a Star Wars movie. I don't really know what it pertains to, if it's like a sequel or if it's just like a standalone thing, or I don't know. I didn't look too far into it. The fact that he's writing a Star Wars movie, I'm like, yeah, I'm in regardless.
Yeah,
I think he's hilarious. So
yeah, same here. Count me in. I'm good. Yeah. I like Taika. Taika's good shit.
So yeah, no, I could talk like literally an hour about just stuff I've watched this week. Like,
all right, let's start with the usual. How's Supergirl?
So I'm like 6 or 7 episodes into Supergirl season 3.
3 more until Brainy comes.
Yeah, no, I'm looking really forward to season 4, just because I know a lot of the cast changes over when like Brainiac comes in, and I think Dreamer comes in season 5. You said?
I think season 4.
Oh, okay. Well, so I think a lot of the cast like changes significantly between season 3 and season 4, but
okay.
Yeah, no, it's I'm still really enjoying it. Like I'm actually really feeling the cast. Like I really like the character development and stuff like that that's happening. I think each season has progressed to a point where like I think it's better than the last season. Like I think season 2 was a lot better than season 1, and season 3 so far I'm like really into. So I haven't had a lot of time to watch that just because I've been watching so much other stuff too. But it's good. It's really, really solid. I really enjoy it. Still watching Australian Survivor. It's really, really good too.
Is Australian Survivor like you can only watch like 1 episode a week? Because
no, it's like 3 episodes a week.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so Australian Survivor differs from American Survivor because American Survivor is only on once a week, and Australian Survivor has way more people and it's longer. It's like almost 50 days, I think, compared to American, where it's 39.
Okay.
So they do way more episodes and have way more cast and so on and so forth. So it's really, really solid. And 3 episodes a week gives you a lot more time with like the cast and get like kind of like build a favorite and like people you like, people you dislike, so on and so forth. So it really builds itself up well. So I'm watching that, but then also The Block, the new season of The Block in Australia started. So I have to stream that. It's on 4 days a week, so there's 4 episodes of that. Yeah, so I mean, I love the show. It's a home renovation show. Nate. Yeah, sorry, but I love Australians. I think the accent is amazing. Yeah, I love. I mean, the women are beautiful. I love kangaroos. Kangaroos is my favorite animal. So it's like, I love Australia. I really, really would love to go to Australia. I'm just terrified because everything in Australia wants to kill you. There's like,
I don't like that part, but I do
poisonous everything, and it just terrifies me. And the flight's like 20,000 hours long. So
that's where it loses me.
Yeah, I'm not into flying at all.
Yeah, I don't I'll do it, but like I kind of have a limit.
Yeah,
like when we go to England, like that's like my limit. That's my limit. That's like for me. I think that's like 12 hours or 10 hours. I think Australia for us is like 20 hours or 21 hours or something.
Yeah, I think it's bonkers. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I think if you hate flying like I do, like Cuba and Jamaica, I've both been to, and it's like about a 3 to 4 hour flight. I can do that because I won't get out of my seat the entire flight.
Same here.
I wear my seatbelt the entire flight because I'm terrified. I can take like sleeping pills or whatever and just kind of like be drowsy and pass out and not really focus on anything. If it's like an 18-hour flight, like I'm gonna have a hard time not peeing for 18 hours. You know.
Yeah. I get it.
That's the danger of it. But I would love to go to Australia one day. I just don't know if I could ever actually bring myself to do it. But anyway, yeah. So watching The Block as well. That's awesome. I recommend that show. And then The Challenge started as well, which is another reality show that's based in America. But it's basically, if you don't know what The Challenge is, I mean, it's 37 seasons in. But they basically get competitors from all different reality shows. So there's people from like Survivor. There's people from The Real World. There's people from Love Island. There's people from like all different reality shows, and they basically are in one giant competition. And it's like, yeah, it's like basically it's Survivor-esque where like there's challenges and the winner of the challenge is like safe, and then they vote people in to like basically go to an elimination where there's another challenge, and then the loser of that elimination gets eliminated. But it's like a little more hardcore, where the challenges are like pretty brutal at times, where like there's people bleeding, there's people that break bones.
Oh, crazy!
Like it's pretty intense at sometimes, and there's not as much anymore, but like it's MTV, so there is a lot of like drama, hooking up, a bunch of young, pretty people, drinking and doing dumb things. But it's evolved more in the last few seasons, where it's a lot more of a competition rather than like a reality show almost.
Right.
So yeah, I recommend that as well. And then I went and seen Suicide Squad tonight.
Nice. How was it?
And I loved it.
Yeah, I heard a lot of
really well done.
I've heard like every spoiler. Like I've listened to like 5 different podcasts about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it for people that haven't seen it yet. I just want to like basically give a brief overview of it. I thought it was really, really well done, really, really funny. It's directed by James Gunn, who did the
Guardians
of the Galaxy 1 and 2. It's very, very similar in tone to those movies and like comedy chops. You can definitely tell that it's a James Gunn movie. A lot of music put in, in moments of the movie and stuff like that. But rated R, so it's a lot more violent, a lot more blood, a lot more, brutality, cursing, that kind of thing. But really funny, really, really well made, and like it's a little long. It could have been probably trimmed at parts.
I heard that.
The first 30 minutes or so is like really, really funny. Like I was cracking up the entire time. And then there's a little bit of a slow middle where it kind of
chills out of it.
Not slows down to a point of like boring, but a mellowed out part in the middle. And then it picks up again at the end. But really, really enjoyed it. Really, really funny. I really, really think it might be my favorite DCEU movie.
It's funny because I heard a lot of people say that it's the best movie in the DC cinematic universe. And it's like, it's concerning that the first time they let a director kind of run with their vision entirely, they get like the best thing ever, right? Because apparently James Gunn had like full creative control on this.
I'll say I really like Wonder Woman, the first one, not the second one. 1984 I thought was really bad, but the first Wonder Woman movie I really, really enjoyed. I liked Man of Steel. I think it's not a great Superman movie if you're going into it. Like, he strayed from what makes Superman kind of Superman, but I also think that Superman's overall a pretty boring character. And it needed to change. It needed to evolve into a modern day. So I enjoyed what he did. And I think Zack Snyder, like, visually is a really great director. I think his weak point is length and plot and stuff like that, where I think he thinks his shit don't stink almost to a point where everything needs to be like it's super long and super extended, and I think that's where he falls apart a little bit. But
not a big fan.
Overall, I think the DCU is pretty weak, but I would put Suicide Squad, like James Gunn's Suicide Squad, up there near the top, if not my favorite. Really funny, really, really funny. I mean, it's hard to build off of because a lot, like, I mean, I'm not going to, like, spoil anything, but, like, a lot of characters die.
Yeah, I was just going to say, isn't it, like, a pretty, like, violent and, like, gory, almost kind of, not gory, but, like, it's pretty...
Oh, it's very gory.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, like, people get chopped in half, decapitated, like...
That sounds great. I need to get on
shot in the face, like, it's very gory.
It's good because it kind of gives James Gunn a chance to go back to his, like, roots, right? Because he used to do a lot of, like, really, like, low-budget, like, horror kind of stuff, didn't he? Yeah,
I think... I'm not super familiar with what he did before Guardians,
but
like,
I know what I heard, like Slither, that was like really popular.
Yeah, Slither apparently. Yeah, I'd say this: like, I think DC would be smart to take the R-rated route and go like, okay, Marvel can be a family-friendly, PG-13 era, universe where, like, nothing's too graphic, nothing's too violent. You can bring your kids to it. It fits everybody. I think DC would be smart to go like, no, we're for adults. We're going to make our movies R-rated. We're going to be uber violent. We're going to make these characters really like adult themed. There's going to be nudity. There's going to be sex. There's going to be violence.
DC stands for dick content.
I'm fine with that. I think DC would be smart to really separate themselves from Marvel that way and just say we're going to make R-rated movies, and they don't need a $200 million budget to be good. Like, you could make a good, $80-90 million movie, I think, and it would still work. But I really enjoyed it. I really recommend it. I think you'll really like it.
Yeah, it's, to me, everything that I've heard, it sounds like I'll like it. So
it's up your alley. It's funny. We were cracking up, like all of us, like we were really laughing a lot. It was very funny.
Nice. Hi, Chong.
Hey, what's up, Chong?
That's me right now. Hey, man.
So I think that's about it.
Hey,
also musically,
I forgot to say I watched Closed for Storm. I already told you, but last week we were talking about a documentary about Six Flags New Orleans, where that got closed after Hurricane Katrina. And Ryan sold it to me, and I watched it on Wednesday or Thursday. It's pretty good. We liked it. There was some stuff that we thought was kind of stupid, but I thought overall it was pretty good. So I like the imagery of like a park underwater. That's pretty cool. And I like everything being like dismantled and like left abandoned looking. Like anything that kind of looks post-apocalyptic, I'm like, yeah, I'm game.
You know why? Like, I think Boblo Island is why I like abandoned stuff.
Totally.
Anybody that's not from this area probably doesn't really know.
No one knows what the fuck Boblo Island is.
Yeah. So like, we're from Windsor originally, and there used to be a theme park around the Windsor area called Boblo Island that was kind of a theme park on an island that was kind of American and Canadian, where like there was a ferry that went both to Detroit, Michigan and to Windsor and carried you to the island. That was a small theme park. Like, it wasn't anything like Cedar Point or Disney World or anything like that. Like, low budget-esque. This is like 80s, early 90s era. Yeah. And it closed down, I think, like, I don't know, maybe 92, 93, somewhere in that area. But basically, like, it got kind of abandoned, and then they built houses on the island as like luxury homes kind of thing. But growing up, my biological dad was, he built some of the homes on that island.
Oh, cool.
So like, I remember when he was doing construction on that island, he brought us there a couple times, and like, we got to kind of explore the island as they were building up these homes, and like, there was like remnants of the park left over. Like, it was overgrown. And it was like, it was really cool. Like, you could see,
I know somebody that used to have one of the signs from one of the rides. I can't remember who it is, but I know somebody. At your old house. What's that?
When you lived with that guy in Riverside.
It was Rob's. It was in my own.
Yeah.
That's why it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
The Cyclone.
Yeah.
Cyclone?
I love that sign. I thought it was so cool that you had that. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No, but exploring that island as a kid, like, I kind of think it put in my mind as like, this is a really cool thing. And then I've always like, there's a couple YouTube channels I follow for like abandoned stuff, and just like people exploring like cool abandoned theme parks or
abandoned cities and stuff. That kind of shit's pretty cool too.
I think that stuff's awesome. Like, I just seeing nature kind of overtake areas of the world that, like, they were building a new city and like they stopped because they ran out of money, and you see like, grass and greenery overflowing buildings or
like
stuff
I Am
crumbling
Legend.
or whatever. I don't know.
It's like a big part of why I like the movie I Am Legend, because it's like the cities are all jungles. It's like, fuck, that's so cool.
Right. That's why I love that kind of stuff. Like, I love apocalyptic stuff like that. 28 Days Later or Dawn of the Dead, like all that zombie, like Walking Dead, all that stuff. So
all of it.
Yeah, I love apocalyptic stuff. So if you're into that, like, I highly recommend it. If you're not, like, there's some cheesy moments and whatever. But I enjoyed it just because I like the look of it. I like the way that, it was shot and filmed. I thought it was some really cool stuff. So
yeah, I thought it was really good too. I liked it quite a bit. So
also, I've been listening to a ton of that Bleachers album, that new Bleachers album.
Oh, I really need to get into that. I'm really kind of not in the mood. I've been listening to a shit ton of Blink. Like, I've been listening through Blink's, like, entire catalog.
Weird.
Yeah, like, I've just started right at the front and just, like, have been going through it. So everything, even, like, Neighborhoods and Dogs Eating Dogs. Like, they're not the
I love
ones that
Dogs Eating Dogs.
They're not the ones that I, like, constantly go to, but it's, like, after I've listened to, like, Take Off Your Pants and Enema and Dude Ranch and Self-Titled in the same day, I'm like, all right, now what can I listen to? So lately I've been getting into the B-side album from California, the bonus one.
Yeah.
It's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible.
Not great.
And yeah, like everything Blink, really. Especially Fly Swatter. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, that's really weird.
No, I do like a couple songs on Fly Swatter, but they're not like good Blink songs. I just like them because I used to like the bass lines.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think some of the bass lines in all their albums are great. Like, even Cheshire Cat had some great bass lines on it, but...
Yeah, totally.
Basically anything pre-Dude Ranch, I think, is pretty hard to get into at this point, but...
I would definitely agree. There's way more accessible music from them.
Yeah, no, for sure. But, no, I really like the new Bleachers album. I think it's really, really catchy. I think the first half is way better than the second half, but the first, like, 4 or 5 tracks on it, I think are fucking awesome.
Nice. I'll definitely be giving them a listen. So I downloaded it onto my phone, so it's like I'm for sure gonna be listening to it. But
yeah, it's really good. Like there's the second track is with Bruce Springsteen. Really,
yeah. 45.
Really catchy.
Oh, 45. That one, right?
Yeah, it's really catchy. Yeah. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
And then the Killers released a new album yesterday.
Interesting.
And I haven't been a huge Killers fan since Sam's Town. Like Hot Fuss and Sam's Town, I think, are fucking phenomenal albums. And then I really, really fell off of the Killers. I think everything post Sam's Town has been pretty bad.
I didn't even know they were still relevant or active.
I think they have like 7 albums or 8 albums.
Oh,
like,
damn.
Yeah. Like they keep putting albums though. It's just nobody in the mainstream seems to really care about them. But their new album's really weird and different, but I really liked it.
What's it called?
It's like the reverse of Sam's Town.
I was never a Killers fan ever, so I don't know any other stuff.
It's very almost country.
Weird.
It's weird. It's a weird album.
That was weird because your dog's bark timed up with your mouth, so when you did "It's Weird," it was like bark.
Yeah, it's a weird album, but I don't know. For some reason, it really caught me last. I only listened to it once, but I found it interesting. It was the first album I found interesting by them since Sam's Town, so maybe check that out if you're looking for something.
If I'm feeling like a type 50, I don't know what that means.
I don't know how long it was, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised that you don't like Sam's Town because Sam's Town's amazing.
Well, it's not that I don't like Sam's Town. It's just I never was really into the Killers, so I just never listened to the Killers.
You should go back to that album.
Sam's Town? Is that the first album?
Second.
Okay.
That's the album where Brandon Flowers came out and was like, this is the best album ever made before it came out, and was like, this album's going to win every award ever, and like just started like praising the album before it came out like it was like God's gift to humanity.
And then it was?
I think that really soured a lot of people's taste on the album. But then after listening to it, like it grows on you and grows on you and grows on you. That's a really catchy album. That's a really solid album.
All right, I'll have to give her a spin.
You should. I think you'll like it.
You should.
All right. We'll do it after this podcast.
All right, sounds good.
But yeah, so other than that.
Oh, snap. What do you got, Cherry today?
Yeah, I'm back to Cherry.
Cherry's pretty good.
Cherry's good.
Cherry is like I keep Cherry as kind of like a when I'm feeling like I want something different, I kind of throw it in.
Yeah.
Cherry and Blackberry are my like, let's shake it up a bit.
Yeah. Let's get crazy. Let's get nuts.
Let's get fucking
you
nuts,
get nuts,
man.
Let's get nuts.
You get nuts? You want lime? We got lime. You want peach? We got peach. You want
peach
cherry? We got cherry. Ryan's got cherry.
Peach and cherry are my 2 favorite.
Yeah, I like peach the best. If I had to pick one, peach is the best. I like pineapple too, but it's another one where it's like I get bored of it. By the end of the case,
that's the only one I haven't had yet.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not I guess if you like love pineapple, you'd probably
I
be
don't.
into it. Yeah, well, you probably won't care then.
I mean, I like a pina colada, but like if somebody was
Not
like,
really
"Here's
the
a piece of
same.
pineapple," I'd be like, "You can throw that in the trash. I don't need it." If you put pineapple on my pizza, I will literally throw the pizza at you because you just destroyed a pizza. Like,
I
it's a
fucking
complete waste of
love
time.
pineapple on pizza. It's
Well,
so fucking
this is stupid.
good. You are rude.
So, what did you think of What If?
I really liked it, to be honest. I mean, it's weird because it seems like it's the first Disney Plus show that we've watched from Marvel that like isn't like slow as balls. Like it's just like super fast paced. It's like, oh hey, we're Agent Carter. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, it's the end. And I know the idea is to get through a lot in a little, but it's just like a weird. It's weird when you go from watching 3 episodes before anything even happens to. Hey, we just basically condensed the whole movie into 30 minutes. I did like the length, though. I thought the 30-minute runtime was, like, pretty good to me.
Completely disagree.
We're totally on the same, different page. I also really like the animation. I thought it was really cool looking.
I love the animation.
Yeah, it's super nice. And I like
It
the
looks
voice cast.
like
it's nice to have
cel-shaded.
Yeah, I love it. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's kind of like they're trying to, like, animate the MCU. So, it kind of... It's very cool.
Yeah.
Stylized, but I like it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I thought it was awful. It's borderline unwatchable to me.
Oh my God.
I
You're
think
such a hard
the
fan.
voice acting outside of Haley Atwell was abysmal, especially
No.
Bucky.
What?
I thought Bucky was. It sounded like somebody that didn't want to be there in any manageable way whatsoever. It was like the most stoic, like, I'm doing this for a paycheck. I don't want to be in this at all.
I didn't feel like that.
Goodbye, Squirrel Leader. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really bad. I feel like the 30-minute runtime is nowhere near long enough to do anything that they wanted to do. Everything felt rushed. The pacing was off. Yeah, it just wasn't enough to tell a storyline. And like, unless this is going to be like a 2 or 3 parter, to me, it just felt like, why do a What If you're just going to rush through any of the exciting plot points of the episode? Yeah, I really didn't like it. I felt like a lot of the dialogue was poorly written. I mean, how many times do they, during 25 minutes, whatever it was, like they need to talk about, put on your dancing shoes. Hey, you're my dancing partner. Hey, do you want to go dancing? Hey, you're going to be my dancing boy. Like, I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're hammering that into the ground.
I don't disagree with you there.
It was just like, the dialogue was just like, oh my God. Like, even as I texted you when they were fighting the stupid octopus squid thing at the end, and they're like cutting it with a sword and stuff, and they're like, oh, I was like, I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, somebody's gonna make a joke about here's some calamari or something like that, and then like 30 seconds later, one of the soldier dudes comes in and is like, hey, we're dicing up some calamari, and I'm like, Jesus, like,
I think it was actually Bucky, but that being said, though, how far off is that from what we usually get with the MCU? Like, the MCU is known for those kind of like those.
It was, but like, then write something more creative, write something more entertaining. Like, to me, for a brand new show, you're starting it off with this episode. This episode should hook you immediately. Like, this is what we're building. This is what the show is about. Like, let's make some sweet plot points. Let's really get you into this series. And this episode did the exact opposite, where it was like, I don't even know if I want to watch the next episode, because to me, it was like 30 minutes of a waste of time.
Man, it's so crazy how wrong you are.
No, I mean, that's fair. Like, I'm glad people enjoy it.
I'll argue the opposite. So I do 100% agree that it felt rushed, for sure.
Yeah.
But like, to me, they did already make a step in the grander plot point. Like, to me, I didn't know that this was all going to tie together, but now it kind of feels like it might be at the very end, where she pushes the octopus thing. So I think I don't know if they're implying that it is, but like that kind of is similar to a bad guy from Marvel called I think his name's Shuma Gorath or something like that. He was in the Marvel vs. Capcom games. He's like a big like eye with like a bunch of tentacles coming off.
Yep.
Anyway, so I wonder if that is him for one, because that's another like Sorcerer Supreme basically. That's like a combatant to Doctor Strange.
Yep.
But I also wonder, like, at the end when she pushes that through and then shows up in like a more modern timeline. I don't know if it's meant to be like our current MCU or not, but like now all of a sudden she's like in modern day, with Nick Fury and Hawkeye, and I'm just like, that's kind of interesting. Like, I wonder what they're gonna do with that, and it makes me wonder that because I heard that Chadwick Boseman's in 4 episodes, so like they must move along or continue to move along, right? Like,
well, I think if they were smart, they would definitely tie things into each other, and like characters would tie into the like second or third episode or whatever, and people fall out and people jump back in or whatever. But my bigger concern is if these are all what ifs, do any of these actually matter in any meaningful way? There's rumors going around that like they want to do a Captain Carter movie now.
Real movie, yeah.
With Haley Atwell or whatever. And like to me, that's intriguing to me because I think she does a great job as that character.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I agree.
I don't know if any of this has any real meaning towards anything. And like to me, it's like if this is all just like rumor, theory, like what if, fan fiction, whatever, like does any of this have like any real effect on the MCU? And I know they're saying like, oh yeah, it's canon, it's part of the MCU now, but I'm like, great, but if it's just a different timeline that doesn't really affect anything else, like why do I care? And
I feel like they're going to use this as a kind of way to explain the way the multiverse is going to work moving forward. I feel like that's the relevancy here is like, and I also kind of wonder if maybe each episode is going to kind of revolve around an Infinity Stone because we already got the Tesseract right off the bat.
Yeah, no, I think that would be smart too. But
and the Tesseract is what brought her back to like the modern time. So it makes me wonder maybe there's going to be like this. Because, like when I think about it, like you could make the Gamora and Nebula story have to do with the stone that's found on Morad or whatever, like that Star-Lord finds initially, right? Same with Black Panther could be involved with that as well, right? Or not Black Panther, but Star-Lord T'Challa.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean they definitely could tie together in that way where like, hey, each episode revolves around finding an Infinity Stone in some way, and then near the end of the season, this is how the Infinity War would have worked out if this
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be like that. I think that's a super interesting idea of like if this is the different storylines that involve Infinity Stones, and then this is how Infinity War would have went if this is all what happened. I think that would be a cool way to end the season. Is like episode I don't know how long the season is. I think 10.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
So like episode 8, 9, and 10 are all the Infinity War episodes where like, hey, we're setting up each Infinity Stone, and then this is how it works now because of all this. But like I said, I just think if none of this is actually going to stick around or matter, then why do I care? If it's just fan fiction, then great.
I don't think that the stories themselves will really have an overall meaning on the MCU, but I think that whatever the overarching kind of thing is in this will be relevant to the story moving forward. Like maybe it might even be Kang. It would make sense.
No, for sure. And like, I mean, my biggest problem with it again is like, I like the animation style. I thought the animation style was beautiful, but
that's usually the thing that's the hard sell for you too, right?
Right. And it wasn't the animation style that turned me off of the show. It was everything else. But to me, again, like it still would have been way better if this was live action.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I would take live action over cartoon 100% of the time, but I also get to put out more content. They're going to have to go down different avenues.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like as soon as this episode came out, Disney was like, oh yeah, from the success of What If, like we definitely are looking at more animated stuff, and I'm like, that sucks. That's a bummer. That's a huge bummer to me. Like
to me, if I can get more content and some of it's animated, I'm fine with that. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Still
great.
story.
I'm glad some people will love this, but to me, if you want me to buy into the entire universe and watch all the MCU stuff, this isn't the way to do it. It's going to divide people. It's going to divide the universe. There's going to be people that jump in on this, and there's going to be people that go, "Man, it's animated. It's childish. It's for kids. I'm not going to."
You're not alone.
That.
I know there's people out there that are like that. So.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Maybe not with this, but like with Star Wars and stuff. So like I know,
sure.
Like I know some people that are just like, the movies are the only things that are real.
Right.
You know.
And I get that aspect. Is like.
Yeah, that's fine if that works for you. It's just too bad because there's such a rich amount of extra content if you're willing to accept beyond that, right?
But I mean, you also have to think there has to be a dividing line at some point, right? Like, if you're a fan of anything, there's now we're turning it into a TV show. Okay, that might be your breaking point where you go, I don't have time to commit to a 24 episode season. Yeah. I want to watch a 2-hour movie and be done. Then you get another dividing point where they go, oh, we're going to do books. We're going to do full-length books of this universe, like Star Wars or whatever. And you go, oh, I don't have time to read a book. So that's my dividing point. And then you go, oh, we're extending the universe more and we're going to do comics. And if you don't read the comics, you're not going to understand certain parts of this universe. And then you go, well, I don't like comics. That's my dividing. Like, there's always a point where you got to draw a line and go, I don't have time to commit to fucking 17 different, media, different types of media to commit to this one thing. And like, at some point, there's a line you got to draw and go, okay, I want to do A, B, C, D, and E, and I can't commit 100% of my effort into this one universe. And like, you're going to lose people. So when all of a sudden movie X comes out and it goes, well, if you didn't read book 6 of this series or episode 5 of What If or whatever, you're not going to really get what's going on. Then you're going to lose people.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I definitely, but I mean, I also think that I kind of look at Endgame as a good example of the end Infinity War is like, for the people who have been there since the beginning and have been hardcore fans, there's so much extra payoff. But for the people that weren't, still a good movie. Like you miss out on some of those little extras, right? So like, and I feel like that's the way we'll go. Like,
is it still a good movie?
What? Endgame?
Yes. Like, I can't see it from a viewpoint of not knowing the other 22 movies of that universe. So I would love to see a person that hasn't seen anything of the MCU.
Okay, so Kate's seen some, but she hasn't seen all, and she didn't mind it.
Well, that's good then. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I can't wrap my mind around not knowing.
She was pretty surprised at the end of Infinity War because I think she's usually pretty good at figuring movies out. Like, it's kind of the writer in her, right? But like,
yeah,
it's almost annoying sometimes to watch a movie with her and she'll be like, that's gonna happen to that person, and then it ends, and I just look at her and she's like, I've never seen it.
yeah, I know.
But it's like, I think even that ending surprised her. Like, she obviously saw that Thanos was gonna snap everybody away, but like, I don't think she expected it to be like all those characters, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I think that's a fascinating thought process. Is like, I would love to make a friend or date a girl or whatever that had no interest in the MCU, and then just
watch them all as a newbie.
Well, watch them all as a newbie would be awesome. Like, I would love to sit down with somebody and do that. But I also like pop on Infinity War and Endgame and going, do these movies make sense to you without seeing the rest of the universe? Yeah. Do you like these movies without seeing the rest of the universe? Because to me, the emotional tug of those movies is because I know these characters and I like these characters, and I had, 10, 11 years of build up with these characters of like, that was the payoff, is like, I love Tony Stark. And then, that ending is like, oh man, that's the tug on the heart, right? So removing all that, do you still get those emotional impacts? Do you still, when you see all these characters coming together, is that still adrenaline
I'll say that there's definitely, like I said, like when I was watching it with her, I think it was probably my like 4th or 5th time seeing it already. Like, I had already seen it quite a few times.
Sure.
And when Cap says Avengers Assemble, like, I was crying.
Oh,
and she just looked at me and was like, dude, fucking grow up. Like,
Oh, see, like I started
so like it didn't
bawling.
really. Yeah, me too. Because it's like emotional, right? Because it's like
In the theater when that
attachment.
happens, I started crying, and then when Cap picks up Thor's hammer,
yeah,
I started bawling again, and then with the ending, the whole Tony getting the gauntlet and everything, I started bawling again. Like the last 40 minutes of that movie, I was crying.
I know, it's emotional roller coaster.
And even now, like when I rewatched all of the movies, like whatever, 2 months ago, a month ago, like watching Endgame again, I was bawling half that movie because like it still has that same emotional impact for me where I'm like, this still means the same to me, even though I've seen it 3 or 4 times now. Like,
yeah.
But
yeah,
no, I look, I won't say I'm not intrigued by the idea of what if as a premise of like, hey, we want to go this way. We want to, what if this happened? What if that happened? I think that's a cool premise. And I think it would be very difficult to get this done in live action because I don't think you could get most of the cast back. I think the cost would be way too high for what they're going to get out of it. The budget of these shows would probably be enormous.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Like, I get that, but immediately making it animated takes away, I think, a percentage of the audience that you would normally have. And then I think with the, 25, 30-minute episode or whatever it was, I think it felt rushed. I think it felt paced improperly. Generally, I think the dialogue was not well written. I think the voice acting overall was poor for the majority of it. I'm not trying to be mean or call out any of these voice actors or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to be that dickhead on Twitter or whatever that says, fuck you to this actor or whatever. I'm not trying to be that. For me, I'm just being honest and critical of what I thought of it. It wasn't for me.
Yeah. I kind of figured it wasn't going to be for you, but
yeah, it's a bummer. I wish it was. I wish I loved it and was stoked for episode 2. But like, all I can think about is like, well, at least we got a few weeks till Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that's coming up quick, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it doesn't get delayed.
Me too.
Disney came out, I think, yesterday or the day before and said like, no, this is definitely going to be a theatrical only movie. We're not putting it on Disney Plus, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's a huge mistake. I think this movie's going to tank. And I don't think that has anything to do with the quality of the movie. I think it's because
of given the scenario.
The scenario when they're releasing it, if it does release on time, I think this movie is going to make next to no money. And I think you're going to see a lot of think pieces about the way Disney put it out, the way a new kind of IP in this universe is not doing well. What does that mean? All that stuff.
I think the movie's going to do well. I don't know if box office numbers are going to necessarily reflect that. Oh yeah,
that's what I mean.
I mean,
I don't mean critically.
I would be different if it was like Black Widow, where everybody was like, I guess, I don't know, was Black Widow so far universally liked or disliked?
I think it's mediocre. I don't think it's like anywhere near love or anything. I think it's like in the 60-70%. But just seeing how Suicide Squad did, opening weekend, I'm like, this movie's gonna bomb.
Yeah, well, Suicide Squad isn't doing great either, right?
No, it did very bad.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I was listening to another podcast about it, and they were talking about how it kind of gets like the sequel suffers because the first one was so bad. So it's like, people maybe don't see this because they remember the first one and they're like, oh my god, it's fucking horrible. And then somebody mentioned like Tomb Raider was another one that was like that, where the first Tomb Raider movie is like fucking awful, and then like the next one is like not bad or something. And then I think that's apparently they said that was why they didn't decide to call Batman vs Superman 2, because they were worried that the first one did so bad that it would taint the performance of the next one. So they just dropped the Superman name and just made it Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that definitely has stuff to do with it. You see that with sequels all the time in like video games and all kinds of things. It's like if you get a bad sequel to something and then they make like a third one, or even if the first one wasn't like even that reboot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Like it wasn't very well liked. I think it made money. I don't know exactly how the box office did, but the second one
was better. I mean, I still didn't love the second one, but it was better.
No, it's way better than the first one, but it didn't make any money because everybody's seen the first one and goes, "Oh, this is not good." And didn't go see the second one. And me and you went and seen the second one and was like, this is exactly what we want out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, except for the turtles themselves.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I mean, I thought it was entertaining enough, so.
I think, okay, what did I want out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this entire time? I wanted
Bebop and Rocksteady.
I wanted Bebop and Rocksteady, and I wanted to be like cool fight scenes and stuff like that. And we got most of that, except the turtles look like shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
After seeing Suicide Squad tonight, I literally said, as soon as the movie ended, I said, I would love to see a James Gunn directed rated R version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That'd be amazing.
Where, like, James Gunn's great at making comedy. He's great at the like character animation of like CG characters like Groot and stuff like he did in Suicide Squad. Yeah, it looks really cool. He's great at making these characters interact in like a funny, real way, making like the team dynamic, all that kind of stuff. Like he does great at that. So make me a rated R version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You could do like, Splinter and Bebop and Rocksteady and all these, Baxter Stockman, all these characters that are like, need a lot of CG to be able to like make realistic, but also have all the like weird comedy elements of the universe.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'd never thought of that, but that would be pretty amazing.
And then rated R, like let's see Raphael actually use his size and fucking put them in someone's skull.
That'd be great.
Let's see Leo decapitate a foot soldier.
That'd be great too. Well, the thing is even if you didn't want to make them. Even if you could still keep it R-rated, but even if you wanted to do that, you could just make the foot soldiers robots.
Sure. I don't care. Like, if you want to go that route, that's fine. I just think the worst part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is they have weapons that they don't basically use as weapons because nobody wants to see what a sword or a katana would actually do to somebody, or, a nunchuck actually smacking somebody in the face, what that would actually do to them,
Yes. That's why he has to use combat cold cuts.
Right. Exactly. I don't know. As soon as I thought of that after the movie ended, I was like, that's where they need to go with Teenage Mutant Ninja.
That would be awesome. That'd be great. That'd be amazing.
But
I'd be so
what do I know?
What do you know, Ryan?
But yeah, anyway, what if I'd give like a 5 or 6 out of 10?
I'd give an 11 out of 10 just to spite Ryan.
I like it. I like the spite. I like the hatred. I like the Siskel and Ebert dynamic of us.
Too funny.
But I mean, I'll watch episode 2.
Again, to me, it's super hard to compare that to an MCU movie because it's just they're not the same. They're really not the same.
No, I agree. But wouldn't you have liked this better if it was like hour-long, like, animated thing where it kind of got time to, like, evolve and you got to see, like, like Red Skull, I thought was, like, so underdeveloped during the episode.
Totally.
And I'm like, there's so many cool ideas you could have done with Red Skull here.
He also didn't turn out to be anything, though, too, right? That's the thing.
No, I agree, but, like, we also know that he's kind of still in universe, right? Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah. But this is a different universe.
What's that?
But this is a different universe.
I know, but like, how awesome would it be if Red Skull came back in some meaningful way?
Yeah, but I guess he did kind of though, right? Like
I know, but he wasn't meaningful. He didn't really have, he was in the movie for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but if he wasn't there, then they wouldn't have been able to get the stone.
Sure. But I'm just saying, like, it'd be dope if all of a sudden he was like, oh, I'm back. Like, I did my time as this, like...
And then he gets squished by the tentacles.
All right, well, that too. I mean, that's fine, but...
That's what happened.
Like, weren't we talking about it a few weeks ago about, like, the second coming of Hydra?
Yes. About because it's with Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, Valentina Constantina Bambina.
Yeah, her name's terrible and completely unmemorable. But I mean, I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus, but
because I think
it'd be dope if somehow she was like
in the
part of her
cartoons, her character is Madame Hydra.
Right, but like, wouldn't it be dope if like, somehow she was like, we need to get Red Skull back too?
That'd be crazy.
And like rescued him from where I can't remember what planet he's on in the fucking movie, but
from Vormir.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if she was like, yo, we're getting Red Skull back and like we're doing this and like he's a part of like the modern day Hydra or whatever. Like,
but
I don't know, I'd be so into that.
But then they gender bend it and Julia Louis-Dreyfus becomes Red Skull.
I mean, fine, I don't care. I just think Red Skull's a cool character that was underutilized.
I do agree. Red Skull is a great bad guy, and it's a shame that he was a one and done. But I feel like that's the case with most Marvel villains. So,
or figure out a way to make it, if you do this Captain Carter movie, bring back Red Skull somehow.
Fuck yes. Honestly, if they do, I'd be surprised if they didn't, because I feel like that would make the most sense. But
yeah, well, I just think if you're gonna redo
First Avengers,
the 10 Rings and all that, Mandarin, all that stuff, you might as well redo like characters that you kind of messed up or didn't get enough time on screen. Like if no character is dead, then you might as well bring back any character that you want.
I agree, and I bet you I wouldn't be surprised if we did see that. To be honest, because wasn't what's his name, the guy who played Yellow Jacket, confirmed for Quantumania?
Yeah,
Jeffrey Kropp. What's his name?
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
I'm pretty sure basically I think all these movies are going to have so many different characters in that they run the risk of Spider-Man 3 syndrome.
Again,
that's my biggest fear.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because they
they
can handle it. So until they give me a reason for me to start being like, fuck, this is starting to seem really crowded, I'm not against it, because even if they're just kind of there, we don't need them to really do much. Hey, sorry to keep cutting you off, but did you see the pictures today of Moon Knight?
No, I didn't. Is it cool?
I didn't. It wasn't really for me, but
so
I don't know.
I don't know anything about Moon Knight.
Okay, so I'm not really your best entry into it either, because I only know a little bit. So
all I know is he like Batman-esque?
Kinda. So he has like multiple personalities, and like each personality is like a different kind of version of him. So like, so I guess that's probably what we'll see is Oscar Isaac kind of playing 3 or 4 different characters, I would guess, kind of in his head anyway. But I guess he gets his powers from like some like ancient Egyptian like moon god or something. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but
like
his costume kind of looks like mummy-esque. Like it kind of looks almost like he's like wrapped in like bandages on. Like his whole body is kind of like in like a off-white kind of color. Yeah,
is that comic? Like what's in the comics?
Well, in the comics, he wears like he's had lots of different looks, but like in the comics, like his traditional look is like a white bodysuit, white trunks with a white cape and a white hood and a black face, all blacked out with white eyes, with like a moon design on his chest. So it's like, you know,
that's not sneaky at all. You can't go like jogging at night in that and not be seen.
So I don't exactly know how it works, but he does have powers. I think like he's not just like a brawler. Like I'm pretty sure he can like. I'm pretty sure he has like some kind of power. I just don't really know what.
A dude I work with loves Moon Knight, and he keeps talking about how stoked he is for Moon Knight, and I think it's. I mean, I love Oscar Isaac, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it.
That's enough for me.
Same. I'll watch it regardless. But
he's gonna fall in the same vein as Daredevil. So, like, if you kind of dig Daredevil as a character, this should kind of be in your vein.
Yeah, I didn't see the pictures, but I'm actually excited for the series because I love Batman. So if anything's kind of Batman in this Marvel universe, then I'm like, all right, cool, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. I don't think we spend a ton of time with Mark Spector. I don't think, like, in the comics, like, I don't think he's like, the alias isn't really that important. It's more just the different personalities when he's in character, when he is Moon Knight, I think.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the one thing I really like love about Supergirl, I mean, this is kind of off topic, but on topic, is like they kind of make fun of how silly it is that like doing this makes nobody recognize her, and then doing this, she's Kara Danvers. And then like there's a lot of episodes where they do like point that out and go like, oh yeah, it's completely ridiculous, but for some reason people don't want to see it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, so like they do talk about it a lot in the series, and like I respect that because it's something that like seems totally out of like the 40s, 50s, whatever, of like, oh, we'll just write this in as she puts on glasses and nobody realizes it. But like now in the modern day, it's like with technology and like cameras and everything like that, I'm like, this is fucking absurd, man. Facial recognition would pick that up immediately of like, oh, that's who it is. Like, so like I like the idea of like, it's kind of, people don't want to buy into the fact that they're around a superhero. People want to believe what you're telling them, kind of thing. And so like in that regard, I kind of like the secret identity thing of like having something more realistic or more grounded in that way of like, we don't really need to jump in on what his real life is like. We want to see the superhero side of him or whatever. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw Daredevil in that too.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I really hope they double down on bringing Daredevil back.
Well, he's in No Way Home.
I know. Right? Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like, if he's in that, I hope that's not just like, hey guys, remember this? He was on Netflix. We're never gonna use him again. Like I want it to be like, hey, we're reintroducing him in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
What's that?
They wouldn't put him in just for that.
I hope not. Like I hope it's like, we're reintroducing him in our universe, and now you're going to get us Daredevil fucking show or movie in a year or two after Spider-Man. That's like, hey, we're bringing him back. Like, you know,
I don't think we'll see in Spider-Man. I don't think we'll see Daredevil as Daredevil. Like, I think we might get to see him fight, but I bet you he'll just be in like a suit. Like,
I think we'll get him for like 5 minutes.
I hope so. I hope I'm wrong because I really would love to see what they have for costume in mind. But I don't.
My theory.
I would guess he'll just be wearing a suit.
My theory is that he'll take on one of the Sinister Six at some point in the movie, like because you're going to see all the 3 different versions of Spider-Man taking on somebody. There's going to be a big battle scene. You'll see like, you know, whatever, Tobey Maguire fighting Green Goblin, fucking, you know, whatever, Andrew Garfield fighting Dr. Octopus, and fucking Tom Holland fighting whoever. And then I would love if they were like, oh, and here's Daredevil fighting X. And it's like kind of similar to the TV show where like, oh, this is going to be like a hallway brawl where he's like, you know, fucking beating the shit out of whoever. And it's like this well choreographed, awesomely shot hallway brawl. And you just get like, you know, 4 or 5 minute scene as him of Daredevil. And then it's, you know, back to like, you know, Spider-Man's fight. But I think that's like a cool way to reintroduce him and be like, hey, here he is, and we're going to do something with him. And like after that movie, the next day, put out a press release that says like Daredevil will return in, you know, season 1 of the Disney Plus show or movie in 2025 or whatever the fuck.
I'll be happy to see him back because I really liked Charlie Cox as awesome. He's great.
Bring back Elektra, bring back Punisher.
Hell yeah. I don't really care about Elektra as much because I don't really have attachment to the character. So
I know either, but I loved her in the show.
She was okay in the show, but
awesome.
Punisher all day and night.
Fuck that Punisher 2 seasons were fucking awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, I like both seasons of Punisher. I know, sorry. I'm better now, right?
Yeah, you're coming back right now. You kind of moving, but
hello?
I can hear you, but
I'm back, baby.
I can hear you, but I hope they come back and I hope it does well. But I can't. You're John Cena.
So I feel like you should. I
Yeah.
feel like you should probably wrap up the show because we think we're pretty much done, and it sounds like my shit. So
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, that's
but you probably
the end of this episode. I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Sorry, I'm frozen. I can hear you. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, no.
Just listen.
Thanks everybody for watching. We will come back next week and talk about What If Episode 2 and continue from there. I appreciate everybody coming out and watching us. Remember, we're available now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so follow us there if you choose, or you can follow us here on Instagram at Customs by Matthew and at Moose Milk Media. Our art is done by at Janie Milne Art, and yeah, we're also available on YouTube if you can search it on there, or the links in the profile. So we appreciate you watching, and we hope to see you next week. So everybody take care. Bye, Matt.